Hello, it's a lovely time again with the program Conversations, and I know that 2 weeks ago we started a conversation on infertility and surrogacy, especially as it exists in Nigeria. Last week we were supposed to continue with it, but for some reasons we're not able to do that. I'll tell you the reason right away. Dr. Wada was not around, but I'll assure you Dr. Wada is right here with us today, and all those who ask questions, we did promise that we'll tackle them. We will be doing that today. And before we get into all of that, I always want to say that Nigerians, we have a way of celebrating ourselves, and we find a way of making sure the Owambe continues. Party, no, they stop. My friends are all here. Party, no, they stop. Okay. Party, no, they stop. Plenty spending.
When it comes to spending money.
Party no stop. And recently, more of it happened.
Oh, yes,
a lot of things happened over the last 1 week, and we're so excited. Davido and Chioma, that's the Chivido wedding. It was a beautiful celebration for them. Miami was bombing and hotting and everything.
Oh, yes,
see the bridesmaids, beautiful combination. Beautiful. He said he spent a lot of money. I don't want to quote it. So people like us will not have.
I can see her mess.
But I can tell you that it was a lovely, a thing. Her dress, her hair, she really took her time. Chioma came out like Chioma. Chioma means good God.
Wow. And
it showed all over her. I don't know. Devon, were you able to watch the wedding at any point?
No, I didn't, because I'm not really, I don't really follow those. But I found it interesting that Mr. Easy's marriage, Mr. Easy and Otedola, that also happened outside the country, and it was way more sedate. So you have two billionaire families. One went all out, and the others were more subdued. So to each his own, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Easy is another person that, for me, is a bundle of role modeling. He's been cool. He makes his impact in the society. The same with Thames, really. But they decided that private life is important for them. I like Davido. I want to.
Oh my God. I didn't sleep.
I know.
Yeah, because the timing.
I know. She was in Miami.
It aired live or something?
I had no idea it even happened.
I know she has her TV.
I have a TV, Joy TV.
So she was following.
Okay.
Many people, since people thought I was in Miami. But you see the thing here that I loved about it was like, they were in Miami, but it was like, see, they were in Nigeria. Adefuke did the hair. She's one of the best in Nigeria, BM Pro. So one good thing with them, what they did, even all the Amala people, they flew them from here.
Wow. Everybody, the pastor.
Yeah, they had like 23 private jets. That same pastor was the one that wedded the parents.
Wow.
So it was
wedded which parents?
Davido's parents.
Davido's parents. The only thing that saddened my heart a bit was that the parents of the bride, the parents of the bride couldn't attend, and it was a bit emotional. But let me tell you, Davido went all out. I enjoyed it. It was beautiful.
It wasn't just with the parents. Before then, I thought maybe this hall was going to be empty because there was a whole lot being said about visa issues and all of that. But I saw the big boys, the Dangotes, all of them.
Those ones, we think they did visa.
No, but you see, the thing here was that, Nigerians own money. You have to give it to also. Because when I saw some Nigerians, I'd never heard about them. Then I saw people like So-So and all that. And I just said, Nigeria, we know how to spend money. They knew that we showed up. We showed up and give it to Davido. I wish them married life. Yeah.
I'm so lost.
You're lost.
Yes, I had no idea this happened. I don't know who Easy Waiting is.
He's a musician.
He's a musician.
Really?
Who grew up in Ghana.
Don't worry.
He's quite a good musician.
When we finish, I'm going to take you out and I'll educate you one-on-one. Anyway, when we talk about marriage, the next thing people say is, okay, children. And it's good that Davido and Chioma already have their own. We also wish that Mr. Easy and Temi will also begin to reproduce and reproduce well. But then if it happens...
Sorry to button. something happened at the wedding that really touched my heart. They lost their kid in the pool, and he made a cuffling. You know, he made a cuffling with Ifeanyi's face on it, and it was very touchy. When Dibanj came to sing, he sort of prayed and said that if not for God, both of them, because they lost their kids about the same time, he said, if not for God, where would they be today? So that was a bit emotional for me. So it's because we're talking about kids.
That's when
you know, and all that. But oof.
It was beautiful, and
Governor Adeleke made
us
I love Governor Adeleke's uncle role.
Oh my God!
If you don't have no longer uncle, he's a father.
If you don't have at least one relative that hypes you up, do you have anything? Like, that man celebrates Davido. Like, sometimes I wonder, will his children get jealous? Like,
no,
that man celebrates
but the kids
Davido.
are hyped as well. So all of them were all there.
And Davido's dad, his real dad is sedate, you know, he's somebody who minds his business and everything. And your uncle, you know, you get up and dance. He makes sure that anytime there's any party, it's Davido's music that's playing. I love that for Davido.
For this particular wedding, I was looking forward to the man.
I had fun with
dance.
I love that for Davido. Everybody needs somebody like that in their corner.
All right, so needing people, we also need people to help us in case there is need for surrogacy. And I told you that last week we had a lot of questions here, but Director, if you can get us Dr. Wada, I want to begin to ask the questions. I want to take the one that asked me and was very angry with me. He said, you did not allow the doctor to answer my question. Why? Please get me the doctor's number. Okay. I'll quickly ask the question. She didn't give her name. I would have liked to call her name, but all the same, she says, I see women of 50, 52, 53 give birth. How does that come about? My pastor's wife, at the age of 52, she is still menstruating. How is that possible? And then he says again, there is nothing wrong about surrogacy if it's done in a decent way. The most important thing is to train the child in a godly manner. But her question remains is, what can somebody in 52, who is at age 52, you know, menstruate, and is it possible to also conceive at that age? Doctor?
Well, good morning, everyone, and I'm very happy to be here. Sorry I missed coming last week. We just watched a beautiful wedding, and I have good wishes for the couple. And you know, once you are married, the next thing is the baby part, and that's where we come in. So this question is very much related to the fact of marriage, what happens afterwards. How can somebody of 60 or 70 even have a baby except for technology? And that is, technology recognized after many years of research that 3 main components form a child. The sperm from the husband, the egg from the wife, and the place of plantation, that's the soil of the womb. So when these 3 factors work together, life can happen. So what's wrong with somebody of 60? They may no longer have eggs. I say this very clearly because there is nothing like never in life. There are people we know, even in this country at 50, 49, they've given birth naturally. So no doctor is here to say it's impossible to do it naturally. Everything belongs to the Almighty. However, most commonly, when somebody of 50, 60, 70 have a child, it's most likely not from their own eggs, because menopause set in around 50 or a bit further. Even long before menopause, 10 years before menopause, the quality of eggs that can lead to life has started going down almost to 0. So the simple answer is that using technology, they would have borrowed eggs from a donor, fertilized likely with the husband's sperm, and this woman's womb at 60, at 70, can still be made fertile using hormones to receive the embryo and nurture it till the time of birth. So this is scientific marvel. I think there was word about surrogacy, and we shouldn't confuse taking eggs from someone in a fertilization and pregnancy process, from actually asking someone, commissioning someone to carry the embryo for you. So that's where surrogacy comes, a third party bearing a pregnancy. Whereas in the case of egg donation, like we must have had in these older women who are having babies, what is happening will be the fact that someone's egg was brought into the equation between the husband and wife, but they carry the pregnancy, the woman carries the pregnancy by herself. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Which means that's not her child, right?
That's not
yours. Technically,
the donated egg is not the woman's own.
yes. So which means biologically the child is not hers, right?
It's your husband's child. It's your husband's
No,
but
yes,
it's
it's her
not her
husband's
own
child, but
egg.
it's not her own egg. So which means it's not her own. I don't know. I'm a bit confused. Biologically, it's not her own child, right?
In truth, it's not, because the genetics of the baby are coming from a third party, another woman. Biologically, she's the mother, because biology is also a process. It's not genetically, it's not her own child in that sense, but biologically she gave birth. Legally she gave birth, is her child. And in that family, which is also recognized in law, a child is born, it belongs to them. So I think we should clear the clog in our minds. The child will never have had life if not that this older woman gave it the opportunity. When I was here last time, I referred to women actually, whether inside the marriage or outside the marriage, when they carry a baby, I said they are contractors for the Almighty. They are being employed to convert a seed to full-blown life, just like the earth created by God to do plants and animals and all that. So we should never diminish the role of the mother who is using donor eggs, because those eggs or embryos will never have become human beings if not that the Lord granted the commission to this woman to do the thing biologically.
So in this instance now, the biological mom is also a surrogate because it's not her own ova or ovum, right?
Okay, so the biological mother is
now the surrogate.
She's now the surrogate because
genetically
it's the same process when you get a surrogate outside. Your own ovum gets, and your husband's sperm gets put into the third party. So in this instance, is it safe to describe the biological mom as a surrogate?
To answer that question very clearly, within the realms of good medical practice, the surrogate's egg is not supposed to be used. Why? I mentioned 3 equations: sperm, egg, and womb. So if the woman has 2 parts of that equation, the attachment is too strong. It's her genes, it's her womb. The only thing coming from outside is the sperm. So we don't support that because you are denying too many factors in the birth of life. And I heard the argument about what's biological, what's social motherhood, what's genetic. It's science that has introduced this. Otherwise, before now, it was always egg and womb from the same woman, naturally. So if you are the genetic parent, it means your seeds have been mixed, and I mean sperm and eggs here, to form the embryo. You are genetic parents. Biological motherhood is also giving birth because it's the biological processes that convert a seed to a whole human being. So separate genetic motherhood, and you have biological motherhood, and then you have social parenting, which means they've brought your child from outside. So you are a social part of the equation rather than a biologic or genetic part. And I think it's useful that science is expanding our vocabulary in describing very simple things that nature solved long ago. Thank you.
The next person here is asking that, this is an appeal. And he says, NTA people, I'm begging you people, with God Almighty that created you, you are always helping us by bringing people to talk and give us public enlightenment. But please put their contacts or their office phone number and address, like a doctor who talk about human life organ or female and male parts. And then he says, I'm begging you people, please, can you give me doctor's number? Well, I am not going to sit here and put doctor's number on the screen for you because I'm not sure it's really okay for him. But then, if you desire, and after the program, I ask him for his, permission, I can send it to you one-on-one. And then I quickly move to another person that says, women freeze their egg at certain age. Can men also freeze the sperm and use it later? Doctor?
Yes.
Why is it funny?
I think I can answer that very quickly because the reason for freezing eggs is not as simple as we're thinking. Okay. And yes to that answer, men should and can freeze their eggs for use much later. I know that men can produce sperms into their 90s and even beyond, but whether those sperms are as qualitative as the ones he produced in his 20s and 30s is also a biological question that is being answered now. So it helps to freeze your sperms in case. What does in case mean here? You can suddenly become ill with cancer, God forbid, and you are being treated either with drugs or radiotherapy or whatever, or even surgery. Sometimes the surgery compromises your fertility. So if you already have something in stock, you don't have to rush upon diagnosis of cancer and say, freeze your sperm. Why not freeze it earlier? So if the technology is here and it's affordable, I would recommend that you freeze your sperms anyway. Secondly, we already know that when children are born in certain climes, they freeze their umbilical cord cells for potential use later in life. So it's easy to say, men, even though you can continue producing sperms almost forever, freeze and be sure that during your good life, you have frozen the sperms. You can come back to use them 30 years later, 40 years later. There is no evidence to suggest that the sperms get weaker biologically.
Doctor, I have a question, please. So what's the consequence of, you talked about as you age, the ovaries, the sperms, the quality of the sperm and the ovaries is not the same. So how does it plan out? If when you have a baby and your sperm, the quality is not good enough, or the ovaries, the eggs are not good enough, what happens
I'm hearing
then?
ovaries. Yeah.
What happens?
Say it again, please.
What happens when maybe the couple are older, so the ovaries are not qualitative enough, or the sperm is not qualitative enough, and then it actually forms into a baby? What happens to that baby?
So
well, I get your point.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I get the question that the older you get, the higher the chance that the life that comes out of you has abnormalities.
Yes.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. Oh. The reason is everything is about survival of the fittest, and nature throws its best out when you are younger. The ones that are at the bottom of the plate or the bucket, they are not as good genetically because of aging process. And if we go into that, the aging process makes the chromosomes weaker, and the ability to disintegrate and reform into a proper human being is under question. It can happen, don't get me wrong, but the chance of something going wrong when all the genetic materials crumble together and they are mixed up again to form a new person, things can happen. When you are in your 20s and 30s, things can still happen, but rarely so. When you are in your 50s, 40s and 50s, well, 40s, then late 30s and early 40s, when you can still conceive naturally, the chance that something goes wrong with this chromosomal code that forms life, maybe in some are triple. You have heard of Down syndrome. Some are missing parts. Some are excess parts, because the control is not so good anymore. Just like I cannot run at the same speed I used to run when I was younger. So things go wrong biologically the older you get. I hope that answers the question fairly clearly.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
To what degree can lifestyle impact one's capacity to have healthy children? When I talk about lifestyle, right now I think it would be safe to say that the level to which our young people abuse drugs is alarming. It's certainly way worse than it was when I was younger. So there's that. The diet, the kind of food we eat, has changed. as a younger person, yes, we had these highly processed foods as well, but I think the bulk of our diet consisted of organic food. So with things like this and very sedentary lifestyle, people are addicted to either their phones or television sets. To what extent does this kind of lifestyle impact one's capacity to reproduce? Because our young people, there's so much freedom to take so much alcohol, they're taking cannabis, they are injecting things into their system, some are taking sexual enhancers. To what extent can this kind of lifestyle impair their capacity to have children, despite the fact that they are young?
Thank you very much. I think this is a very germane question because we've left nature long ago and we are surviving on artificiality. To a great extent, this is important. We've known for too long that those who smoke and those who abuse alcohol, they are biologically weaker. You see, when you see the complexities of even talking the way I'm talking, a lot of chemistry is involved, right from the brain to the nerves and to the cells that I'm using to generate energy to be able to speak. So you corrupt that program by abusing drugs, by excess eating of anything, by exposure to very unhealthy air or water. There's so much that is happening now, and all of them have negative impact on reproduction. What does that mean? You can, even many lifestyle changes work through our genetic components. We call them epigenetic factors. They can influence, the intention is to do this, but they come and corrupt the system. You now get a different result out. So there's no doctor that can say no to that question. And the way it works is actually corrupting the program of doing what you want to do by injecting all sorts of fake chemicals into nature and the process of biology. And so men, that I have seen many who are maybe alcohol dependent alone, and they've been married, it's 2 years now, nothing has happened, and you note that in the history and weaken it and start saying, oh, when you go out with your friends, drink non-alcoholic beer, drink non-alcoholic wines. So you're still socializing, but not poisoning your genes. If I may stop at that to make the heavy point. Your genes create activities that you're doing. And if you corrupt them, then you cannot have good sperms, you cannot have active sperms, and so on. I can go on and on, but I think the point is well made that living a good lifestyle with discipline in diet, discipline in all intakes, discipline in your body form, all of that will maximize your biological abilities, including reproduction. Otherwise, you compromise. And you can compromise a little, but you can also severely compromise your ability to reproduce, etc. Thank you very much.
I noticed with the men in Nigeria, or maybe abroad as well, or in the world, the older men, when they have older women, I noticed that they marry younger girls. So when they marry the younger girls, the thing still works because they have kids. So the thing here I'm hearing today that they're freezing, this is the first time I'm hearing they're freezing sperm.
I think the doctor says you need to freeze in case you have a medical condition that will make it impossible for you to still impregnate at later age.
And then the quality of the sperm is not the same.
But excuse me, I'm seeing 90-year-old men, 80-year-old men
who are not sick with cancer.
Well,
and to be honest, we are not even sure. Because let's be realistic.
Okay.
Now you don't know who actually fathered the child.
See, that's a good one. You see, because you see the thing here. Who said yesterday? I saw it. Some popular Nigerian. He says he knows the kids are not his.
But he's okay.
But he's
a popular Nigerian.
Yeah, popular Nigerian. Yesterday I saw it, and it's good you said it because now we're seeing 80-year-old men like their laughing that died, and we're seeing all of them, and they're having babies. So Now I can see that.
I'm not saying it may be a life baby. It is a life baby.
You don't get what I'm saying.
But it's a possibility.
There's a it's good that you're telling me, because here I'm wondering, I'm seeing 80-year-old men, I'm seeing 90-year-old men. They are having very strong, healthy babies.
How do you know?
And that's what I'm saying. Now you're telling me that
we
maybe it's not theirs.
Yes, it's a possibility.
Okay, all right,
it's a
fine.
possibility.
So
okay. Doctor is laughing at you. Somebody says here, good morning, everybody. I'm happy to interrupt. Can you imagine it? He said, I'm happy to interrupt. I don't understand the fact that men freeze their sperm. My name is Chidebere from Abakaliki. Abakaliki, your light is functioning. How many messages from Abakaliki today? Yes. Anyway, I think what you just said, we already explained it. I hope you got that bit. You don't need to freeze unless maybe you don't need it. Unless you have medical issues later. That's what the doctor told us. Let's quickly take more message. He says, good morning, sir. Please, I would like you to assist me with your contact, sir. Okay, I guess it's Dr. Wada you're asking. Like I said again, I'm not going to call his name on this platform. We'll get to you if it's okay with him later, or you can even get his office line and talk if it's a medical thing. And somebody says here, doctor, you talked about alcohol and other lifestyle. Someone told me that when you put your phone or your laptop in your pocket, that it can reduce your sperm count. Yeah. How does that work?
True.
Okay, thank you very much. I know that phones emit radiations, but there's no clear studies proving to the world that putting it near your pocket or your genital area can damage things. I haven't seen that. Maybe work is going on in that. But excess of anything today can be said to be bad. So I'm not also saying keep your phone there all the time. I don't have any evidence to support it. I heard they talk about men may not need their sperms and so on. We'll now live in a world where a lot of things are changing. And I doubt if in about maybe 15, 20 years, I don't think that people will not freeze their sperms. I think everybody will want to freeze their sperms. You know why? Because sexuality will not be related to conception. They are two separate things. One, and it used to be those days, if you remember, 80s, 90s, it was mainly to have a baby. Today, there's a lot of it happening with contraception and all that, not necessarily. So project that forward to when eggs are frozen, sperms are frozen, so you are married now and say, where's your sperm? Mine is in Orlando. Where's your egg? Mine is in Abuja. Okay, get them together. And and it's happening now. The husband doesn't have to be in this city when his child is being conceived in IVF, for example. So if you stretch that forward, you will see a time come when you're not going to produce sperm now. If you don't have time, you're enjoying your life because robots are doing everything for you. They can even carry your baby for you. And that world is having a baby is a separate thing totally from your daily life. Let's put it that way. And I close my mouth because if it's 20 years, that means artificial intelligence is slower than I'm predicting. But please note that just like we had to enter a car to come here, and just 50 years ago, I'd have had to be on a camel or a horse or trek. Yeah. It's natural to drive a car, but wake up your grandfather 500 years ago and tell him you're going to drive between Usetu and NTA in Garki. It's like, you are very crazy. How can you do that? So what I'm saying may be crazy, but I believe it will come to pass that everybody will freeze their cord blood, they'll freeze their sperms, they'll freeze their eggs, and whenever we meet, wherever we meet, we decide what to do with it.
Okay. Doctor, what about cases of perhaps mistakes, mislabeling of the specimens? Has it happened? Have there been cases? Because you are packing these things in little test tubes, and then perhaps that day the person that was actually labeling made a mistake, or he was tired and he wrote Mrs. B instead of Mrs. K, and then they use this, and it's actually, is there anything that is done after the baby is born to find out whether genetically that is your sperm or that is your egg?
Even before it's born, do you need to test to be sure?
I like to call that an ABC test now. It's not a difficult thing to find out if the baby, if the mother is the genetic parent of that child, or the father for that matter. That, I mean, I was reading something recently, maybe somewhere else, that a lot of babies that are being born don't actually belong to the man or something like that, you know. So things are happening. They've always happened anyway. But to test, to be sure whether this child is from you or not, is a very simple test these days.
No, but is it part of the procedure? Because if you are going to do this, perhaps, you know, you go to the hospital to do this. Is it part of the procedure? After it's done, they check to be sure we did not make a mistake.
No, I don't think they check.
Yeah. I mean, for example, people who commission a surrogate to have their baby, they may want to prove that this is their baby because somebody else is carrying it.
Yeah.
I dare say to you that even while the woman is pregnant, we can take her blood and analyze. And you know, the father also goes to test. We say this child is from the egg and sperm of the commissioning parents, nobody else.
Okay.
For citizenship issues, for example, if you have foreigners involved, they want to move to the United Kingdom or US, you must prove that genetically there's a link to one of the parents. Otherwise, the child will not be considered a citizen of that country necessarily. So you can understand how. The test can be done while the woman is pregnant or after delivery. And it's not space age testing anymore. And I think that's a very important point to underline. Yes,
I think that's a good one to ensure that there is no fraud, because if you pay me for surrogacy and halfway I lose the pregnancy, I could decide, okay, let me conceive again and then continue with the business and still make the money. So if the test is done, it shows
but
that...
the time frame would affect it.
Well, if you lose it at a point, you could say
I want to ask a question. I want to ask the doctor a question. Something happened some weeks ago, I think I ran it by you, where somebody, we don't even know who is saying the truth or who is lying. They said she didn't have it full term, so she didn't have the baby.
Yes.
So I didn't know that they do part payments when it comes to surrogacy. You know, so I think she said, the lady said she was giving part payment and she lost it. And when she lost it, they refused to, you know, complete the payments. And I didn't know they do part payments when it comes to surrogacy.
So at that point, what should be, who should justice favor? Is it the person that lost the baby and needs some money, or the people that paid and don't have the baby?
They paid for a baby, they didn't get the baby.
No, me too, I will not complete it.
Oh, no, what am I completing money?
Somewhere along the line,
I think there should be a clause now.
God decided that
there should be a clause.
So, like,
but let's wait for doctor. Doctor, what happens?
Very difficult for a doctor to comment on those financial and legal issues because already there's a contract existing. It's not the doctor's forte to make a decision. The law says you committed yourself to this on A, part B. These are the commitments you made and you signed, and you are to enforce that. And I think the doctor's role is what we call, you know, mercy on both sides, because you are trained to be like that.
I think what doctor said 2 weeks ago about not knowing who...
Yeah, the surrogates.
It's very, I think it's very key. Because right now there's another story why the lady is not paying the balance. Because now they're saying she's sleeping with the man.
Who is sleeping with who?
The surrogate is sleeping with the husband of the lady. So I think this knowing who does...
Well, in that case, they could have saved money and she could have just gotten pregnant the natural way.
You guys are not serious.
No, like, seriously, if you're going to be the man's side chick, what am I paying you for? Like,
oh my God!
No, but then that's not her baby. If she's his side chick.
No, but that's not
her baby because she wants her baby.
Right.
So you see the contract. You see, this is the thing. You signed a contract for a baby, not sleeping with somebody's husband.
But so
that has the nerve to come later and complain that she wasn't fully paid.
Yes. No, that's a different contract.
I mean, that's a different.
It's the same person.
No, but it's a different matter. The matter at hand is surrogacy. That one is different. Whether or not she's sleeping with that's a different matter.
You see, that is why you shouldn't know
the person.
Yeah.
the person.
Anyway, good morning. God bless you all for this wonderful program. Please, can I have the doctor's number? Ibrahim Nissan Hospital. God gives you more. God give you more grace. You're really saving life. Okay. Again, all these people are asking me for doctor's number.
Now.
I will not. Let me quick. Anyone I see that is asking me for this person even added long, please, doctor's number. I will not take it.
I'm sure he has a special assistant now, so.
I will be
there.
giving you numbers later.
No,
Not now, but you can link up with him and his hospital to get your problem solved. How does infection affect infertility in women? Thank you, Chisom from Enugu. Doctor, that's for you.
Okay. How does
infection?
Okay, infection.
Affect
Before I say that, I think there's clarification on the last discussion. The law all over the world recognizes whoever gave birth to a child as the mother, the legal mother. Whether she's genetic or otherwise, it's a different matter. So if the contract goes bad for whatever reason, the child's interest is preserved along that way.
Okay.
Now, infection, and I dare say, it takes two to tango. Please, when we say sexually transmitted infections, let's have both men and women in our mind. Because you can't, how can one get it without the other? Yet, many people think, oh, it's sexually transmitted disease, STD, you're looking at the women. I don't like that. It can affect both men and women. In the case of men, it can change their sperm parameters. It can even ultimately zero it if the testes are destroyed by the testes being the factory that produces the sperms for men. If they are destroyed by any infection, you compromise your sperm production capacity. For the women, the main targets are the lining of the womb, what we call the endometrium, and also the lining of the tubes. And this can result in blockage of the tube, for example, or adhesions around it. So the tube that's like a snake moving is restricted now, is stuck. It cannot pick the egg where it picks it from and hold it for the sperms to come, and the channel may be blocked. The endometritis, that is the endometrium, the covering of the womb, the topsoil, which actually grows the life, can be destroyed, can become gummed up, and there are many medical words to use for that. So this can compromise fertility on both sides. And whether it's 50%, this is a societal research. But there's no reason why we should look at the women at fault from infection more than men at fault from infection.
Doctor, there must be a miscommunication here. We usually look at the men for infection, really.
He said the men are more
It's a general, I don't know whether it's a general misconception, but to be honest, when we talk about STDs, the image is a man's image, and not
well,
women.
I think he's speaking from his perspective as somebody who is working in that field, and the kind of feedback he gets all the time.
Yes.
We are all women on the show, so naturally when we talk about these things,
we think it's the men doing it.
We're looking at men and all of that. I think he's taking a more holistic perspective based on his professional experience, hands-on experience, that when these issues arise, the bulk of the burden, the blame is placed on women, whereas the truth is,
you know the thing here. No, but you know the thing. I think what doctor is trying to tell us is, when the men have STD, it shows almost immediately.
Yes.
But with the women, most women don't know they have STD
until it's pretty
so advanced. Most of the time, that's what causes a lot of problems. So I think, you know, there's sometimes when the man has it, he says, "You gave me." You understand? But most of the time, it might be maybe you went to the bathroom, or maybe something happened. There's some soap you use down there that causes all those kind of things. So with women, because I notice most women don't know that they have infection, unless the opposite sex
Doctor is laughing
them.
at you. He's going to comment on that. But then talking about infertility and fertility, where argument came up, you know, within my people's, my team, and at the end of it, I said, okay, put it in writing. She said, no, I'm going to put it in video, so that I can play back for everybody to see. If your supplement video is ready, let's see it.
Undeniably, fertility issues are on the rise. And although there are multiple options for alternatives, most people still prefer the natural biological option. To achieve this, Nature plays a huge role, but we also have to play our own part. Remember the saying, heaven helps those who help themselves. Now, to achieve this, how about we start with a healthy lifestyle change in your meals, exercise, the way you sleep, your mindset. All these are keys. And then garnish it with some vitamins and supplements. Those kind of vitamins and supplements are as follows. Folic acid, which is also known as vitamin B9. This is crucial for preventing neural tube defects in early pregnancy and support DNA synthesis. Vitamin D. This is needed to better fertility treatment and overall reproductive health. Coenzyme, also known as CoQ10. This can help improve egg quality and ovarian response. Inositol, particularly male inositol, which is said can improve ovary functions and potentially egg quality. Omega-3 fatty acids should help to improve embryo implantation and support hormonal balance. Antioxidants, vitamin C and E, selenium and zinc, helps in combating oxidative stress which can affect egg quality. Vitamins B12 may be necessary for successful infertility treatment like IVF. Vitamin B6 can improve hormonal balance and ovulatory cycles. More so for the women, most especially while making these healthy lifestyle choices, you should endeavor not to smoke, as tobacco use is linked with lower fertility. Limit or avoid alcohol when trying to conceive. Heavy drinking is linked with a higher risk of problems while ovulating. Limit caffeine intake. Don't exercise too hard or too long and avoid toxins. For men, omega-3 fatty acids is said to be able to improve sperm quality. Zinc. L-carnitine, which may improve sperm motility. Finally, you should know that it is important that you consult with your physician before attempting either of the aforementioned. We'll head back into the studio for the continuation of our discussion.
Okay, and I don't know how to go about this. There's so many questions here. I don't know which ones I can take and which one I cannot take, but we'll do our best. Doctor, that's which you saw was a bit of argument between me and the lady you saw. Her name is Ehi, Dr. Agada, and some other persons around, Christy and Noah and all of that. So they decided to couple it together and put. I don't want to tell you the side I was in, but is that okay to take?
Well, the reality of our own existence in this part of the world is that we still consume a lot of natural foods. So when people come to us and say zinc, selenium, that, you know, because we're taking things from the ground still, not preserved food for 20 years, or sandwiches on the run as it's done in very harsh societies, it's very difficult to take all that and plant it here. Yeah. For example, folic acid. I mean, did you eat vegetables last night or within the last week? Yeah. However, that's what we talked about. Once that knowledge is up and about, we don't block it because it might help. I don't want to live here saying you can't have a baby, take some zinc, you can't have a baby, take vitamin D, vitamin E, and all those sort of things. But we believe that eating from nature solves the problem. Have we forgotten the times of our parents and of great-grandparents when there were not these supplements? Except a significant change in lifestyle occurs, then, you know, maybe we take it with not life and death feelings about these supplements. They help, yes. To what extent in Africa and Nigeria in particular, where we're still very traditional in how we cook and how we eat, that one is something that science must study before we buy all this 100%. But right, thank you for your work. That's not to underrate your work.
Okay, so I know who won based on your judgments. Yeah, I think all of us won. If you're not eating well, if you're not
Because
doing this.
I don't take, I used to take vitamins when I was much younger. And I realized it used to affect me. So when I went to my doctor, he said, just leave it.
Do
and
natural
eat properly.
things.
And it has worked for me.
Okay.
I take supplements.
All right, the lady says here, I had fibroid operation and since then I have not had menstruation. Why is that so? Eze from Abakaliki. A lady, okay, Eze is asking for a lady. I was going to ask, is Eze menstruating? Doctor, that's your question, not my own.
So menstruation, from what I heard?
After fibroid
surgery.
After
It
surgery,
stopped.
Yeah.
no more.
Yeah.
Fibroid surgery.
So they blocked a tube.
Wow. And age matters, because if you have your fibroid surgery when you're around 45, it's difficult to say whether menopause is around the corner or not. But most people who've had fibroid surgery and have stopped menstruating, the issue is that surgery may have gone wrong.
Yes.
And that's why I keep talking about carpet of the womb. That's where you bleed from, not the wall of the womb. So if the carpet of the womb is compromised during the operation, mistakenly removed, God forbid, then how will you menstruate? Okay. Other times, part of your response to the surgery is the carpet gums together. So it doesn't function normally like a normal carpet. So, and that might frustrate your menstruation. So what would somebody do in this kind of case? It is to go to the hospital and see a doctor, especially the one that did the operation. And a scan will determine whether the lining of the womb is still intact or gummed up. And if it's intact, then it's something to do with the hormonal balance, because you need the hormonal balance to have menstruation as well. So sometimes before fibroid surgery, we pre-treat with some hormones. And the effect of that pre-treatment can be long-term loss of menstruation until after a while, maybe 3 months, 6 months, then it comes back naturally because the effects of the hormones have worn out. So these are the possibilities. The fear, the worst part is that the lining of the womb has been taken away or compromised at the time of the operation.
Okay. All right, good morning. This person sent the same question. How many times? Oh, wow, 5 times. That's very serious. It says, good morning, everyone. Please, if a lady freezes her eggs, can she still menstruate? Because it's one thing to freeze your egg, but can it alter anything genetically in your body? My name is Vanessa, and I'm writing from Benue State, doctor.
Freezing your eggs doesn't affect your menstruation. The reason is most people are born with 1 million or more eggs anyway, so freezing 30, 40 does not change your equation in any way. So don't be afraid. I think that, it gives you a peace of mind, rest of mind, people say. Yeah. And you can get about your life. God forbid anything goes wrong with your health that may compromise your fertility. You have already frozen your eggs. And remember, your womb can still be active into your 50s, 60s, 70s. So it's the egg that's the problem. So why not preserve it? Get along with your life.
All right, doctor, still on you. Somebody is asking from Yola. He says his name is Ali, Amos Ali. Can cancer happen to the stored eggs or the sperm in your system?
Of course.
Well, when men are involved, human beings are involved in anything, it's not perfect. Mm-hmm. But we do this because the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. So the good thing is that it doesn't depend on electricity. It depends on liquid nitrogen, which is plenty all over the place. There are machines that extract from the air. As long as those machines are there, we can keep your embryos or your eggs and sperms frozen almost ad infinitum. You've all read recently of a child that was frozen for like 30 years as an embryo and has just gained life. So science is moving on. So if it can be 30, why can't it be 50 years? So yes, it is not a bad thing at all to freeze your sperms or eggs at the right time.
All right, this one is more like testimony. It says, I had my second child in 1987. My doctor told me in 1991 after having 2 children that I would never have children anymore because my fallopian tubes were twisted. But in 1991, I had another baby. That's after 12 years. I didn't do any surgery nor any medication, just divine intervention. Okay, I appreciate the fact that you're sharing that testimony with us. Thank you very much. I hope that the same God visits other people, you know, and they save money for people like Dr. Wada.
Yeah.
Good morning, madam. Can a lady of 21 years marry a man of 46 years and still have their children strong enough? I'm Mary and I'm in Adokiti.
Yes, it's possible. I mean, even from the previous one you read, a doctor was saying you can't have, and she had. So no doctor says anything is impossible. And the ages you've called, I don't think
Not even close.
they make anything impossible as long as there's egg, womb, sperm. Those are the 3 dots that connect for life. So,
All right, doctor, I'll still be on you. Our time is up. Just in a few seconds, parting words to women and men who are at the moment in seeking, because there's a whole lot of message I've not read here. A lot of them are asking for way out. Parting words, 1 or 2 sentences.
A lot of men are. Please, I didn't get the question very
I said
clearly.
the question.
Yeah.
I say just a word of advice to the people who are looking for children at the time. We don't have much of time. Just make it short.
Thank you. I think this discussion is very full, from surrogacy to natural conception and so on. We are in the world of science, ladies and gentlemen, all Nigerians. And that science, we may not be able to block it from advancement. What will help us is people to understand from a very well-informed position that, you know, these are possibilities, but these are also the limits. So it's not surrogacy for the sake of surrogacy. Egg donation for the purpose of egg donation. If it's yours, say your egg or your sperm, my advice stands because you're in control of that. It's not a third party. So I urge people to study their reproduction, take preventive action. The world is getting more towards wellness and prevention than treating diseases when they have occurred. So when we say think about freezing your eggs and sperms, or women, or men, we are talking about preventing difficulties in later life. And I want to, you know, from the bottom of my heart, wish all peoples, especially those who are struggling to have a baby, wish you well, wish you success, and please take a cue from all the discussions we've had in the 2 episodes that NTA has kindly aired for your education and comfort.
All right, thank you very much, Doctor. We'll be saying bye-bye. Just 1 sentence, your final thoughts.
May God grant those who are trying to conceive luck.
Amen.
That was it.
Your lifestyle, very, very key.
All right, you can eat your cake and have it. I know that some people actually didn't have the cake right from the get-go because nature says so. But then you cannot waste your youth. And I expect that that beautiful cake of children will be ready for you at old age. Do the right thing. Those of you who are working, please settle down. Don't wait until when you get level 20, level 100, and so that the money is bigger, then you begin to find wife or husband. Do it at the right time. That's my own word. Ciao, ciao.